Okay, this video is for people that we send these leafers to so they'll know how to set them up on their own tractors. Places that are a little further away, normally we do the setup here in our shop, but we'll show you what we do and how we do it real quick on this video. This is the front leafing head. We remove the leafing head from the back post and we make this new post for the front of the tractor. This T-shaped part on the front merely keeps the stand up when it's in the barn. When you're out in the field, we just take that off. This black piece right here is the main frame that we want you to hook up to your front tractor weight bar. And we want you to keep it centered, okay? Keep it centered with the tractor, and you weld onto this and bring it to your front weight bar. Bring it as close as you can. Closer to the tractor is always better so you're not hanging out there too far and doing this kind of routine, all right? Now, you will notice that the mask is offset to the right. There's a reason for that. When you flip from the right to the left, with the mechanism, you want the head to stay in the same spot, according to center line of the tractor. So far from here, I'm gonna be the same when I flip to there kind of thing. Okay, that's why that is that way. Now, let's talk quickly about the head. This head has 4 nozzles. Typically, I only leaf with 2 of those nozzles. And I leaf with the 2 smaller nozzles. They're the brass ones, okay? Now, there's a special tool in the kit you'll be getting that you can install into here, and you can turn on the other nozzle or turn them both on. We don't want to do that. The way it's set right now, we like it. You can try it in the field if you like. Anytime I've ever tried it, I like the way I've had it set. Now this head is also adjustable. Right now it's straight across, it's horizontal, but you can also tilt it up to bring your band of leafing more. So right now it's leafing about this much. You can tilt it up and leaf about that much. Okay. The most important thing to make sure you do when you set up a leafer is make sure this cylinder, the one that flips it from side to side, is running slowly. They give you 2 valves here to slow it down. You want to go about 4, maybe 5 seconds from one part over to the other, okay? You don't want to slam this thing back and forth. You'll break something, and it will happen because it's happened to us before. As long as we slow them down, don't have any problem, all right? There's also an up and down cylinder. Okay, so we have the flip side to side, we have the up and down. There's also one on these newer models that has an in and out. I don't use it. Generally what happens here, we run it out to a certain point and we leave it there for that vineyard. When the guy is driving, if he wants to go a little closer to the canopy, steers a little closer to the canopy. We've been doing that for years and never have a problem. There's no need for us to be adjusting constantly. We just run up against the canopy. So typically on this cylinder, we'll run it out and then we'll remove the remotes and not worry about it. Down here is where you hook up all the remotes. Most tractors will have, newer tractors will have 3 remotes. And if you have that system, one of them will at least have a flow control. That's the one we want to run for our head. We have it marked as a red and a blue. Red pressure, blue is return. There's also a case drain that's got to go right back into your casing your tractor. Now, when we set the speed, typically the head will never go above 900 RPM on the head. We take an RPM gauge, we go in the center, and we kind of figure that out, what it is. I will typically start up in the springtime, summertime, about 750 in our canopies, something like that, maybe a little lower, maybe 600, but never above 900. As the season matures, I will go up to 900, only because I want to cut a smaller piece of leaf so that it doesn't canopy through. Later on, I'll even go to a bigger one. I'll slow down, I'll do things, but that'll be covered in another video. Here we're just focused on setup. Now, we have given you a couple of route points to route the hose, all right? The hose is a large, it's a special hose. We send you a big enough length so you can get back to the tractor. Please use these really slick and cool hose clamps. They're totally wicked awesome, and they hold because this is some strong stuff. So make sure you use these. And we want to route back, and you want to make sure that in your routing that this head can flip from side to side without having any problem. So generally we just come over here, we come into the hose, we come back to here, we go over the top of the cab. We also give you these two mount points here, and you'll be getting a couple of bars. The bars will go back to near the clutch housing. You want to come back to the clutch housing somewhere close to the midpoint of the tractor to hook in. Most everybody knows how to do that. Okay, over here at the hydraulic panel, we've got the red and the blue for hydraulic oil in, hydraulic oil out, which is going to go to your remote. This is a K-strain. As we said before, make sure it goes directly into your tractor sump somewhere, into the transmission somewhere, unopposed. And then you have the various different lines that run the cylinder functions. Typical American tractor has 3 remotes on it. These guys send enough for 4 remotes. Here go the fact that I don't ever use this in and out cylinder anyway. I'm using my motor circuit, I'm using my flip circuit, and I use my up and down all the time. When you're in the field and you're going down a row, you're gonna want the up and down. You're gonna see it, especially if you're going underneath the cross arm, something like that. You know, the vineyard tips down a little bit, you might want to edge it up a little bit, that kind of thing. So we hook up to there and we go on back. Collard has added this valve bank here. Basically what this is there's a filter in here in this red cap. That filter could be just washed out with some gasoline. It's one of those old-fashioned little copper beaded filters that you can actually wash out each time. It's kind of cool, and they work very well. I'm actually very surprised that Collard's been doing that for years. And there's a pressure relief and a flow limiter to make sure you don't run over too much RPM. So that's kind of the front. Let's go to the back. This is the compressor unit. Now, of course, 3-point, 540. Your biggest issue with air blast leafers is do not run above 1 bar. You'll see it get the gauge here go to red at 1 bar. You don't want to run the compressor over 1 bar. Run it up next to it. That's all you need. It will leaf just fine at that point. Sometimes they have a blow off here. I see no reason for it. They do have a relief valve that'll blow off past 1 bar. We don't want to see that relieving. Why bother creating all that air if you're just going to blow it off anyway? So bring it up to 540 RPM. With those 2 nozzles running, you should be sitting a little off of 1 bar, maybe 0.9. Perfect. It'll run all day long right there. This filter inside of here, you can change it out with a Wix filter if you want. It's no big deal. Be happy to. But this one can be especially designed. You can wash it out many times, blow it out with air all the time. I mean, I've gone a couple of years with mine and just keep blowing it out. It's not a problem. The front gearbox takes just a 90 weight like a gear oil. No big deal there. You'll find a set of pulleys in here. You may have to tighten them up. If you hear any squeaking back here from the pulleys, that's very no-brainer, very easy. The compressor. The compressor has oil on this side and on this side. But the key there is they're separate. They're not together. Okay? So if you check one side, you need to make sure you check the other side, and the levels have to be checked separately on each side. Okay? It's very, very important. Keep the oil in the middle of the gearbox, in the middle of the sight gauge there. I don't have the oil on the top of my head. We sell it all the time. I think it's a 220, but you can call me and we can get you those numbers. It's no big deal, or we sell the oil as well. All right. If you have any questions when you're mounting this thing, call me. I will walk you through anything. All right? Thank you.